Well, hello guys, and welcome back to another Steven Universe review. In this episode, we're taking a look at Season 1, Episode 38, Alone Together. This does one of the more interesting things in the show, which I know technically other shows have done it before, but I don't watch those other shows. But I like how this show handles it, and I'm talking about Fusion, obviously. I like how Fusion is handled in this show. And this is a great use of it. This is a great way to twist it and take it in this new angle. And our characters are just as surprised as we are because this has never been done before. It's really interesting. But yeah, let's get into it. So it starts off, we see all the gyms in their different dancing styles. I like how they each have their own different dancing style, and I like as part of Fusion, the two dancing styles conflict, but they also work together. It's always an interesting part of Fusion, but you see Steven's trying to fuse, and they kind of are, well, can he fuse? Because he is half human. It is an interesting conundrum to make the leap, that makes sense, and especially based on what we've seen in previous episodes, it does make sense that, hey, maybe, in future episodes, it does make sense that, hey, maybe he can't fuse. But yeah, he's talking to Connie afterwards, and she says that, oh, at least you can dance, right? I can't dance. I'm too nervous to dance. And it's like, well, nobody's watching here, so let's dance. So they have a dance moment, and yeah, it's cute. It's well done. The animation's good. And at the end of it, they fuse. And you know, it's really well done. This whole scene is handled really well. The chemistry between them, both, right, through talking and through their actual movement and expression. The actual fusion design, Stevonnie's really good. It's a really solid scene. And they show off to the crystal gems, and Pearl's like, I don't know if this is a good idea. But Garnet's reaction is what makes it for me. Garnet's reaction is great in this episode. How she's all hyper, and, oh, this has never happened before, and this is so cool. Yeah, no, I love it. I love how she talks about fusion. Oh, you're an experience. That's a great way to put it. Garnet, it's a little thing, but it's what pushes me over the top with this episode. It works. But they go out, they have fun, right, walking around, going into the water and whatnot. They go get donuts, and they're still not used to being two people, because this is where, right, throughout this we see that, oh yeah, even though they're two people fused into one, they're starting to take on a single mindset, but also trying to keep their differences. It's an interesting dynamic that we see through Fusion of someone who has no idea how Fusion works, well, two people technically, and them experiencing for the first time. Like, he gets to, okay, I'm going to say this right now, Stevonnie, it's they, but I'm going to refer to it as he or she constantly because I'm really bad at this. Yeah, we see, right, they get two donuts because they're still not used to being one person. And yeah, it's only temporary, but it's an interesting dynamic to take, showing, and Stevonnie's design overall, you can see, because you see elements of Steven, you see elements of Connie. It's a great design that like, you actually see the combination. Like, we'll see other fusions where you see bits and pieces, but they really, so far we've seen Opal and, Sugalite. They are, yes, they are fusions, but they more or less feel like their own characters. More or less. I mean, you see their traits. Stevonnie, though, does really just feel like it's Steven and Connie. Like, it's just them mixed together. Like, this is what their kid would look like. I think it's a great design. But they get invited to a rave. They go down, and they're all partying, dancing, right? They're the center of all the attention, and everyone else kind of stops dancing, and they start freaking out. And now, as we learn later on, spoiler, I guess, Fusion, it kind of comes with these, like, illusions that are a side effect of Fusion, or at least that's how the show pins it. They don't explain it here, but it works here, because, you know, we always talk about, oh, it's a visual medium, show don't tell. This is a perfect example, because, well, yeah, you could just see the nervousness on their face. They go the extra mile with this illusion, having them, right, physically crushed. Well, they're not, you know what I mean, right? The people looming over them. It's a visual representation for their anxiety being the only one that's dancing. It works really well. It's a great piece of animation. This is what, when we talk about like, oh, animation's benefits, this is what we're talking about. A scene like this, because while you could do this live action, it works. The way it transitions, it's just stronger here overall. And then Kevin shows up, and Kevin, there's a joke that floats around about, oh, how the show has all the great villains, and yet the least redeemable one is Kevin. The unforgivable one is Kevin. Even though he did kind of get forgiven. Long story. But, yeah, and Kevin, he thinks he's the big shit, and him and Stevonnie fight, and eventually, right, she gets angry at him, and Steven and Connie split back up into two people. And yeah, boo, back to normal, all's well that ends well, right? They were an experience, even if it didn't entirely end well. I think this is a good episode. I really do like it. It has its legacy, and yeah, I understand that. My problem is the pacing. I feel like I wish this episode was longer. Like, it feels, I don't want to use rushed, that's not the right word, but if it had taken its time, showed more of the experience, spent more time with Stevonnie, I think it would have been a stronger, more cohesive episode. Especially near the ending. The ending is very... I praise the animation and whatnot, and I like how they handle Kevin, but I do feel it's a little... I'm going to use the word rushed still. Again, it's not the perfect word. But other than that, I feel like the rest of the episode here is really solid. It really works, and it accomplishes what it's supposed to do. It really does do a good job at showing off how fusion is. What it's like to be fused. And yeah, I hope you all enjoyed. Stay tuned for more. Until next time, peace.